Welcome to another episode of the Reluctant Adult Podcast. My name is Paul, and I am joined, as always, by the man whose convention season is filling up very quickly, Bill.
Hi, everyone. Get your dance cards in.
If you would like us to appear at your show, we require is airfare, lodging, and a big old check to get us to appear.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, I'd sleep on the floor if I had to. I
Just
could.
like the floor of the auditorium, the convention
Anywhere,
center.
yeah. Sure.
Any
Outside
floor,
of the convention center.
outside. Like our friend Dan Larson was posting this week that he was at a convention hosting panels. Did they get paid? Did they get room and board? What do you think? What's the deal for that?
I mean, as a guest, no, I think they have to pay their own way, and then
If they're hosting a
collect.
panel,
You think that the convention pays for lodgings and airfare and all that for them?
Well, I don't know. That's what I wonder.
They base it off of the percentage of interest that
I
goes
really
to the
don't
panel?
know. I wonder if there's any sort of like, what is the incentive to be the host of a panel? Is it just because, look at me, I'm hosting a panel? No, I want some
Look,
money.
Ma, I made it.
Look, Ma. No, I want some financial compensation for my time. I imagine they have to get at least maybe the comp their ticket. I don't know.
Right.
Flights ain't cheap. You fly. A lot of these are out in California, flying across the continental United States to go do this. I really don't know.
I know we did we had a booth at a horror convention this past summer as our horror cosplay group, and we got free tickets.
There you go. Yeah.
And free entry to the convention all weekend. Mm-hmm. And then I think even free tickets to the concert, which we didn't partake in, but we did have to pay for the room.
What concert? Who was playing in the concert?
It was Ice Nine Kills.
What is that?
They are very popular. They are like a horror metal band, mm-hmm. And they do a lot of. They're very thematic. So okay. they pull a lot of, and they're local too.
Oh, there you go.
Local to Massachusetts.
That's good. Local boys.
So they
made good.
Do you remember the old Rock and Shock convention?
Yeah.
That was in Worcester mm-hmm. for the longest time. So that ended. That mm-hmm. ended right before during COVID, mm-hmm. and then it's been on hiatus. They stopped doing it, but these guys and their promoters linked up with the old promoters of the Rock and Shock convention and just kind of reset it and named it something else. So now
there you go.
It's under a different banner and a different name, but it's a lot of fun if you like the genre.
Yeah, conventions are starting to kick into overdrive. This week was WonderCon. Is that
WonderCon?
What just happened out in California?
Yeah.
So obviously San Diego Comic-Con is the mecca of conventions, the big one, which is in July. Do you agree with that? Is there a bigger convention?
I don't think there's a
single
bigger
convention.
No, I don't think. In terms of conventions and how other conventions are, based around it, I think everybody kind of compares themselves or tries to be at that level.
Yeah, almost too
if
big,
not draw the
say.
most from
yeah.
it. Yes, it is. It almost seems like to get into it is either too much of a hassle or just a tough road, as it were.
Just too many people, and it's a comic convention, but it seems much more about like film, like the big studios,
media, a lot of different media, a lot of cosplay now.
Yeah, cosplay,
and like you almost you treat conventions these days, especially I think most people go for 3 days, mm-hmm. and they really have to. If it is a 3-day convention, they really have to plan out the day, mm-hmm. like each day. Like one day is going to be my costuming day, and I'm just going to walk around as the character I portray. And the other day, I will go and enjoy the booths.
Mm-hmm. Or if there's like signings, or there's people you want to meet,
right?
Because that's a big
There's
deal.
So much.
You
There's
really
so
get
much to do.
You really get the stars to come out to these because people are willing to pay so much money, and they do these packages. There was a 90s convention recently, and you got like all the stars from those shows, like Step by Step and all that. Like you had all these people come out, and you do like packages of signings, and you can meet them,
right,
and take your photo. It's not something that was always happening. Like there was a point where someone was like, I have an idea. And then all of the people who were on these shows that weren't really making any money off of their involvement have a way to make this income that wasn't available to them before. So I'm sure they love it.
It is interesting. I remember, I think the cast of Back to the Future got back together for a Boston convention, and it was about an $800 photo op. It was wild.
Just insane. How many people do you think take them up on that?
I'm sure enough people like either save up, and that's just like their dream, and it's bragging rights, of course, and you get to say, hey, guess what I did. But
is it bragging
you can only
rights,
you can only impress so many people at the end of the day.
I mean,
besides yourself.
I'm just
Who's it for but for yourself?
Well, sure,
I guess
it's for yourself, and then if you get things signed, maybe you can flip those and make back some of that $800.
Yeah, make sure you get them personalized too.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Put some Clorox on there and rub that right off. Can you make that out to Edward Bay? Just abbreviate it, eBay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've just never been interested in that, and my favorite things are spending money and waiting in line. So you know that I'm totally on board with going to conventions to meet celebrities. No, but it is a great opportunity, and it's a unique opportunity because you there's really no other way. If you want to meet these people, if you want to have your one-on-one with these celebrities or pseudo-celebrities, this is it. This is your shot. And the reason that we are talking about conventions this week is that PowerCon is happening later this year in August, I believe, in Ohio, I think. And PowerCon originated as a He-Man convention. It was Masters of the Universe. That was it, and it's grown since then. I think the first one was back in like 2011 or so. So it's been going on for a while. There were a few years where it didn't happen because of COVID, obviously. Nothing happened. But it's back, baby. And they've started announcing you can pre-order your tickets, and you could also pre-order the exclusives. So historically, they've had some pretty good, if you're into Masters of the Universe, they've had some pretty good exclusives from either Mattel. At one point, Super 7 was doing the Classics line. So there was 1 year there where you got Super 7 exclusives. But this year, our friends from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast are going to be attending, and they are bringing their own exclusives. They have their own action figure line called Major Bendies, which are based on the Bendums, if you are familiar with wrestling figure history. And if you're not, you can picture it. They're like, well, that's an LJN.
I know it's an LJN.
That's a little bigger.
It's the only wrestling figure I have.
No, that's good. I don't even have one of those. So these are smaller. These came out actually. The Bendums came out during that weird period where Hasbro was ceasing their line, and before Jakks really picked up their stuff. So they were just sort of like there. So these are like pay homage to them. They are in that style because they're sort of like, they're simple to make. They don't have any points of articulation, but they're all unique sculpts. So I sort of think of them like if you collect pops don't really fit in with action figures. They're their own thing. So that's how I sort of feel about these. But they're going to have exclusives for PowerCon. They're going to have a new Matt, a new Brian, a new Smart Mark, and a brand new character in the Bendies. They are going to have, for the first time ever, first time in the line, Spencer Powers. What?
Yes.
Spencer Powers.
Yes.
AKA Pixel Dan. And I'll have to pull the tape, but I think at one point I said if Pixel Dan ever gets an action figure before us, please unalive me, because but no, congratulations, Pixel Dan, Spencer Powers. It'll be interesting to see how well this does, because these are exclusive to WonderCon, or PowerCon, I should say, excuse me. These are exclusive to PowerCon, and if there was ever a community of fans that would buy a Pixel Dan action figure, it would be these people.
Sure.
These are your people, Pixel Dan.
Yeah.
It's almost a shame that it's labeled as Spencer Powers, because Pixel Dan has not really intermingled those two worlds too much prior to this past year when he wrestled Matt Cardona. Then he was really promoting it. So I do wonder if that was maybe a faux pas. But if you want this figure, you actually have to be in person at the convention to get it. They won't ship it to you, which I found out, because I was like, damn it, not only does Pixel Dan get an action figure, but I'm going to have to buy it. I need this in my collection. But I'm not flying to Ohio to get it, so we'll see how that secondary market looks. These figures are normally around $30, which is expensive for what they are, but they're a small, they're a small boutique company, if you will. But because I guess these are exclusive, these are $40 each, which is a lot of money for what it is. But if you are a fan, and I guess the flip side is if you're buying it in person, you could probably get it signed. I'm sure Pixel Dan will be signing these. I'm sure he will not be charging. I can't say the same about Matt and Brian and Smart Mark. I think they probably will charge you to get it signed. But congratulations to Pixel Dan. You have your first action figure. And it wasn't a Masters of the Universe action figure. I think probably we thought that would be the avenue if it was going to happen. But
the year is still young.
Oh man!
Wait till the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh no! There's gonna be more than one Pixel Dan action figure this year. I don't know if I can take it.
What would his
Pixlor
Pixel Man Pixlor
Pixeltar. Well, this Friday, you will hear a new episode of Reluctant Adult Conversations, where I'm going to sit down with Captain Joe Shoes from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast universe, and he actually is officially part of the Masters of the universe, because there is a character written into one of the mini comics that comes with one of the new exclusives. That is, his name is based on Joe Shoes' name. I forget. I'll look up before I interview him. I'll look it up. But so there are, I don't know that Pixel Dan has a namesake in the mini comic yet. So there are still some hoops to jump through for Pixel Dan. Some I'm trying to think of I'm trying to say things for him to achieve, achievement points for him to reach. But your first action figure, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So we're obviously very jealous of him. Maybe you're not. I was like, maybe we can get our first articulated action figure before Pixel
there you
Dan.
go.
But we've still got a ways to go. We've made no inroads towards this goal whatsoever. We need to start making some friends in the industry instead of pissing everybody off.
Aw.
I want Fresh Monkey Fiction to sculpt my head onto one of the Santa figures. That's what I would like.
There you go.
I think that would make me very jolly.
Dad Santa.
I think are they doing it like a dad bod Santa? There's something.
I don't know.
Mall Santa.
They're doing like Mall Santa.
Yeah.
Mall Santa.
Yeah, very good.
It's all right. You befriend somebody, you'll find someone.
There are so many small toy companies right now. There's so many toy lines through Kickstarter, just like that have established themselves, and there may be another small company popping up, because this week Funko announced that they are laying off a good chunk of the Mondo company, who Mondo started out of that theater in Texas, the Alamo Draft Theater Do you know what I'm
the
talking
Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they came out of there. Mondo, if you're familiar with them, they do these they have this they do theatrical posters. Then they have a very specific style. So they became so big,
unique,
very unique. Yeah. So they became
small run stuff.
Right. So they had enough success that Funko was like, "We're gonna buy you," and they were like, "Here's I think like $17 million. We're gonna buy Mondo." But the people behind Mondo remained on until this week, where Funko was like, "You're gone." So the poster division, it's being described as defunct. But Mondo does more than just posters. They have collectibles. They do like tiki mugs. In terms of collectibles, they did those larger Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you remember those? This was a little way out. I don't know if they're 18-inch or 12-inch, large, based more on the comic look. More recently, they've been doing the X-Men animated series, large figures. They had that convention exclusive with Wolverine laying on the bed, looking at the framed photo from the meme.
Yes.
So, in theory, those are going to continue. In practice, we'll see whether that's true or not. But sad news, obviously. Anytime a group of people lose their job, there's been a lot of outrage from the community towards Funko for this decision. And Funko's not having a very good stretch here, because news broke that they were dumping all of those pops in a landfill. They're just not on the right side of collectors right now. And people have been speculating, like, are pops going the way of the Beanie Baby? Like, they were very hot for a little while, and now maybe people have had their fill. And if Funko isn't making pops and people aren't buying pops, what is Funko doing exactly?
Sure. They'll move to shirts or something. I don't know.
Well, they also bought Loungefly, which I think Loungefly does shirts.
Oh, good. Okay. I don't know. It does. I've always considered them the Beanie Baby of the modern collecting community, as it were. And it almost seems like it's one of those. It's you never. I mean, you go out of your way. You buy them. I don't. I've always found it as, like, if somebody gifts you a pop, that's just that person that's like, oh, they collect, or they're interested in, here's something, whatever it might be. It's just it's a lazy toy.
It's a lazy toy. It is a lazy toy.
It's a lazy
if you are a collector and it's not something you are specifically interested in. But I think it also was a good gateway toy, because if you go into someone's office and they have a bunch of pops there, would they have had action figures there if pops did not exist? Probably not. So this was a way for people to start collecting something from a property that they love, whether it's Star Wars, Harry Potter. I mean, not literally, but almost literally every property that could be commercialized has been made into a pop at some point.
Right.
So if you love Teen Wolf, if you love Caddyshack, if you love Bob's Burgers, you could get a little, very inexpensive version of a character from that property to put on your desk, to put, a shelf somewhere in your house, just to, like, show your fandom and say, oh, okay, I get it. Now this is what collecting is. You just, it's like you feel like you own a piece of that media.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't think, like, I don't feel like pops, and, like, the same with Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies didn't come out and, like, expect to be this huge thing. It just, for whatever reason, caught on, and so many different people started buying them. But then it started to be like, I'm buying them because they have value. And I don't know that if that was done intentionally. Like, the reason that some Beanie Babies have value is because they had short production runs, and this is, like, if you're into Star Wars, you know how this works, between, like, the long saber and the short saber and, like, all these production mistakes. Right. That is what was creating value. Today, I don't think that really works. Like, have you ever heard of an error pop that has value? Like, maybe. But there are some pops from conventions that were very low runs or early on in their life, and they just didn't make as many. They go for a lot of money. Like, there are still pops that go for a lot of money. So that sort of brings out the worst of collectors, where you're collecting just because you know this thing is valuable or will be valuable, and you think you can make money off it, not that you just enjoy the property. But you really can't have like a super successful line without that part of it. Like, you definitely need there to be people buying it, whether they like it or not, just because they think it has value. So that's sort of like the devil's bargain you make when you start a collector's line. It's like, we need fans, but we also need people who just like money and think our product will be worth money. And now it's starting to seem like they've made everything that could be made, and then like the new things they're putting out are just not garnering as much excitement as some of the older products. Or there's just like, you know, like, oh, when the Mandalorian started and we had Grogu, oh, they went insane. They made 1 million different Baby Yodas, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be, you know, the gift that keeps on giving, the golden egg. Golden, what is it? The golden goose that laid the golden egg? The goose that laid the golden egg, yeah. But now, how many versions of Grogu are there? It's like, it's too oversaturated at this point.
More than I can count on two hands, and they're also like $4 on Amazon at this point.
The value is not
next
held.
to nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like they got pretty creative. Like, they made the Macy's balloon Grogu, which I have.
They did.
I like when Grogu is in scale. So there's like that Luke training Grogu set that's out right now. So like anytime Grogu is in scale with the pop, I don't like the Grogus that are like its own thing because it's large and doesn't make sense. Right. Yeah, that's just my personal taste with Grogu pops. But they made so many versions of them. I think he had his own subset. So there was like 6 at a time. So that is done. I don't know that they're until in the Mandalorian they like give him his helmet. You know, like eventually they're gonna give him his, and then people are gonna want to pop with that. But it's gonna be a little while until that happens. So there just aren't that.
Oh, keep going. I'm sorry.
There just aren't that many opportunities to make pops that have like wide appeal right now, and there's not like a new property coming out that people want pops of, because like they did a lot of Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is sort of like weird right now, and they have the Disney ones, but people will always collect Disney, so that's probably pretty safe. But I don't know. It's just like they did a lot real quick, and now there's just not that much else to do, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Quick speculative buying tip for me and for anyone listening. Start picking up some Grand Admiral Thrawn stuff. Just saying. Yeah, you think? Yeah. That could be a thing. I think it'll be a thing in the short term. Until San Diego Comic-Con when he's announced as a figure again. But yeah, you think he's going to appear on this season of The Mandalorian? I think he is, and I think you should start kind of hoarding a couple of Grand Admiral Thrawns. Is he going to look close enough to what he looked like before? Like that's a good question. Who had that guy from what was it? Obi-Wan, who he didn't look at all like that species looked previously. Oh, right. The lazy makeup. Speaking of Grogu and Luke and them, Hasbro announced the Black Series Deluxe. Let's put it in quotes. Deluxe Luke training Grogu sets. The build-up sets. They're back to those again. Yes. Yuck. Let's break this down, because this actually kind of pisses me off a little bit. So this set, let's let people understand what we're looking at here. How much does the set cost to buy? What is it? $44.99? Yeah, $45. Is it more? $45. Yeah. Okay. Which, if you break it down, I'm still saying figures should cost $20. Maybe figures would cost $25 now for like a normal figure. All right. $27. Okay, well that sucks. At least we start. Still, I don't even understand. I mean, this sucks. Okay, so you have Luke in his. Is it a brand new sculpt? I don't know if it's a brand new sculpt or if it's like an overlay on top. So he's in more of like the tunic style. It's like a long tunic
Yeah.
as opposed to like the vest that he wore.
And he's got some boots that look a little different than the other
Okay,
like Jedi.
I mean that's
Luke.
easy enough to do.
Sure.
But he's like almost like in a gi, like in a
Yeah.
karate gi, I would say.
Right.
Okay.
But he's got the single hinge elbows, right?
Yes.
So that either is a holdover or they've just decided that's how they're gonna do Luke figures, and I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't get double elbows. Like, what is the deal?
You don't want him to use his lightsaber properly.
I guess
hold
it's
it like
so
this.
bizarre. It's such a bizarre
like
choice.
It is.
He's got the new head sculpt, which it doesn't look like Luke. It doesn't look like Mark Hamill. It doesn't look
it's
like
not
Skywalker.
supposed to. It looks like his dead-eyed digital self.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't look like that
his
either.
deep fake self.
It looks like the stand-in, the guy that was actually there. That's who it looks like.
Yeah, sure.
Is this the figure that no, I was gonna say, is this the figure we were gonna get with that Rancor? But no, it wouldn't. That doesn't make
Good
any
question.
sense.
No, that one's coming out. I think
Okay,
you want to think about one that it was maybe coming with the Rancor was the one that came. He's got another one with the rescue. His rescue, the Mandalorian when he rescues Grogu or rescues everybody there.
Oh, with the cloak.
That's coming out with the cloak. Yeah,
that's more interesting. So then you get a little Grogu, which we've got before. Is it a new pose, or is there anything different about this Grogu figure?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there's probably something slightly tweaked on him, but who's to say?
Comes with was it a rock? There's like some base thing.
He does come with a rock. Yep, and he comes with a leaping effect
for Grogu.
Yeah, and he comes with a blast effect.
Yeah,
as well because he's using the training remote.
Right, and that was previously released with the yellow jacket, like the exclusive yellow jacket version,
the ceremony.
Yeah. So are people excited for this set? Are they like, yeah?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not too excited about it. I only buy Black Series on clearance now.
Sure.
And it's very easy to do at this point because all of it goes to clearance if you just wait.
Yeah. And even if you let's say, I don't want to miss it. Okay. Well, if you have to go to the secondary market, it's not like it's going to be double in price. Like, it's probably just going to be people just try to make their money back, I think, at that point. Maybe you have to pay the tax they paid. But yeah, it just so somebody said the reason that the Star Wars reveals for this year are so underwhelming is because Hasbro did the Star Wars team in half, and half of them went to work on Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense.
So you're getting a lot
reps over there.
You're not getting a lot of new product. Like, they announced, first of all, they said they weren't going to do pre-orders, and then they put up pre-orders for that set that has the Tusken Raider. That's like a year out. So what is it? You gotta have you can't say one thing and then do the other thing. Like, what are you doing? And a lot of those figures are reusing parts. So it's like you're not even getting. Yeah. I think one of them reuses like the Rey figure. Like, I forget which figure, new figure it is, but it's like using something that Rey wore.
Oh wow,
it's just weird. I don't know. It's not a banner year for Star Wars in terms of the tour.
And which is a shame because it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and it should be a years-long celebration that culminates in our birthdays.
That's right.
We will also be the same age as Return of the Jedi, so why not celebrate such things?
When you put it that way, it's very disappointing.
Yes.
What a letdown. What a letdown. But it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
So disappointing figure, but whatever.
Well, so this is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. This year is also the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And to celebrate that, they did make this special that's going to air on Netflix, and it picks up 30 years later. It's set in real time from that original series. The trailer dropped for this Power Rangers anniversary special, and it kind of broke the internet a little bit because it was leaked. I don't know what happened. Maybe this was intentional. It was leaked, and then people were reposting it, but then that got pulled down, and then Netflix officially released it, and then that did very good numbers. Like I saw people on my timeline posting about Power Rangers that would never talk about Power Rangers. So it was picking up on those fans that watched the show as children and then have obviously not supported the show for the last 30 years. But the trailer itself, did you get a chance to take a look at it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
couple times.
It's pretty dark, like, honestly, because so this is the storyline from what we can tell. There is a battle between the original Power Rangers, the original group, including Trini, who we know in real life passed away. Rita Repulsa comes back as a robot with like a big stupid metal face, and she does a blast and she kills the Yellow Ranger. She kills her. All the Rangers walk to the edge of a cliff and look down at her dead body. Like, what the hell is this show?
Wow.
And we know from the trailer and then just from the production of it, we know that in the story, Trini's daughter, not real life daughter, but Trini, the character's daughter, is going to avenge Rita. Avenge her mother's death by destroying Rita. And there's a point in the trailer where this girl says, "Rita killed my mom." And it was shocking to hear that, because in the original Power Rangers, they were not allowed to say the word kill. They would say destroy. They would say every other synonym for kill, but you could not say kill. So to hear, I think they actually said it twice in this trailer. It's like, whoa, okay, here we go, buckle in. So in the real world, only Billy, played by David Yost, and Zach, played by Walter Jones, returned to be of the original 5. Amy Jo Johnson said no thank you, and she's actually had to defend that decision recently, because people on social media are like, why didn't you come back? And she had said that the Power Rangers production company didn't offer enough money, which, she is really the only one that has like an ongoing career that, like, I could see that as being real. But then she was trying to say, like, I'm 50 years old, maybe I don't want to be in spandex. Like, these are all fair reasons. So she chose not to be part of it. Fine enough. They actually did film this prior to JDF's passing, and he also chose not to be part of it.
Okay.
And then obviously we talked about the Yellow Ranger dying in real life. And then the Red Ranger had some legal trouble, has some ongoing legal trouble. So I think they chose not to include him. So to round out the roster, they got Rocky, they got Kat, and then Trini's daughter will step up to be the Yellow Ranger. So that is your team, but it looks like this is going to be chock full of Power Ranger Easter eggs. Alpha is back with a slightly different voice. People are saying he sounded like Invader Zim. I'm not familiar with that, but that maybe it's the same actor or actress. Lots of little blink and you miss it things, references to other Power Ranger seasons. So this really is shaping up to be like a proper tribute to the series. So I think it's coming out in April. It could be a big deal, and if it does well, maybe it will create an opportunity for more of this. But it seems like Power Rangers as we know it is sort of winding down, and they're going to reboot it. But if it does gangbusters, maybe they'll decide to go in a different direction. I don't know.
Is this just a special? Or
this is just a special, yeah.
Okay, so
it's not a full
40 minutes.
season, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an hour long, or I think they had the run time. But
they had some other robot villains too, like the Snizzard was a robot.
Right, so they're bringing back some old villains, but they gave them like robotic upgrades, which is interesting.
Yes.
It's a choice. Yeah. I don't know. I want to see the Pudgy Pig again.
Right?
Who was in space?
Someone in space? They were talking to. Didn't they talk to the other Yellow Ranger as well?
Oh yeah. So like Adam and I think Aisha, it seems like they're part of some like. I think it didn't say SPD. It was like SPR or SPA, spa.
Okay.
So it's like there's like some other like protection agency, like they're like the Men in Black. They're like watching aliens come in, make sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it seems like there's a lot of lore interwoven into this, and that's great. This, and then I think it's even been said like this is really not being made for a general audience. This is like a love letter to the fans of the show that have followed it for 30 years, which you don't usually get from properties like that. That's not something like you usually don't make something and be like, we want a very small audience. You're like, no, you want as many people as possible to like this.
It's just for you, Paul.
It's just for me. No, it's not. I mean, it's for me, but if you go on Twitter, there are Power Ranger fans that are like nitpicking, like they could see every little thing. Like, I mean, God bless them. God bless them. If you followed this franchise for 30 years and you stuck with it, this is your present. This is for you. But I will be there. I will be watching. Maybe we'll have our friends back from the Zero to Hero podcast to do a little wrap up on it. But I'm looking forward to it.
You should do a live viewing. You should do a live
viewing, but it's on Netflix, so it's like I guess we can choose when we view it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah. Just talk about it and then watch it live together.
Uh-huh. So, looking forward to that. It's good.
Yay.
Oh, I wanted to mention this. Speaking of Power Rangers, I never realized this before, but the main villain, Rita Repulsa in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, she wears that hat, right? We all know the hat.
Yeah. That
is a hat. I should say, that is her hair. If you look at it, it's like her hair and like silver pigtails, and then she has like bits of cloth wrapped around it. Like somebody pointed that out this week, and it blew my mind this whole time. It was not a hat. It was her hair.
It was never a hat. It was her hair.
It was never a hat. It was her hair. I have to go back and rewatch it now. I feel like that changes my perspective of the entire series.
There's a t-shirt for you.
There's a t-shirt. Yeah.
It was never her hat. It was her hair.
It was always her hair. All right. This week's Mandalorian, we got to talk about this because I feel like this really epitomizes the show because there was some really good stuff and then like some of the silliest things that I could ever imagine. What did you think about? Well, first of all, this is chapter 20. What was it called?
The Foundling.
The Foundling.
Yes.
What did you think about this episode?
This episode almost it's kind of funny. Like I never really thought about like Mandalorian culture and Jedi culture being so similar.
Right?
So you start off and you're like, wait, these Mandalorians pretty much adopt their children, train them,
steal
and
them,
then set them off to be Mandalorians.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, and then you got these Jedi,
yes,
who steal children,
yes,
train them, and then and I'm like, this is just the same thing over again. So like, since I came to that realization, I'm just like, oh,
sometimes
the same thing over again.
Sometimes
it's not as fresh. Birds. Sometimes they're eaten by birds, and we're okay with it.
And we're not we're not overly concerned about that. It happens a lot. No. Apparently,
it happens a lot. We run out of fuel for our packs.
Our jetpacks
going.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, someday.
Apparently,
you never think maybe
delicious.
Maybe move your cave.
Well, that's the thing. Why did they pick to live in the land of the lost, where there are all these giant creatures? Like what was
alligator, crocodile?
There's always
turtle
a bigger
monster
fish
right out your door, and then there's a bird.
Right, like. And you're afraid to go to Mandalore because it's been cursed or whatever.
Yeah,
like
it's cursed and poisonous.
Maybe check. Like nobody checked. Like it's obviously fine. You got those other cave dwelling friends living up there. Where'd they come from?
You got two people who just came back from there. Who's like, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's not bad.
No giant birds stealing your children.
This season feels less gritty. It's a little more polished.
Yeah.
I think partly due to the fact that like they're on this desert world having, blaster practice when they're just shooting into the water.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I think Boba Fett really everything up because it took away that moment of Grogu choosing to be a Mandalorian.
Sure. And even in this episode, not to cut you off, even in this episode, he's like, oh, do I really want to be, like, where does this guy want to go? He right before his flashback, he's just like, oh, do I really want to be a Mandalorian?
Right. And it just, and like I was defending it, saying like you should be watching all of. It's like it's not like Marvel where there's so much. Like you can watch the Boba Fett, but like I think if you just erased Boba Fett from your memory, and then you had these like 2 episodes that you could have added on to the season, like to the beginning of the season, and then you're coming in hot, because the first episode of this season for Mandalorian was like nothing. Like they just sort of established where he was and what he was going to do, but it was a nothing episode. And then you had the episode with the side story, which was the main story over on what's the planet?
Mandalore?
No, the one where it was like Andor.
Oh, Navarro.
Yeah.
No, Coruscant. Right. Dr. Pershing. Yes.
Yeah. So then you had that other episode that was like primarily an episode of Andor with Dr. Pershing over in Coruscant. Yes. And now we're back following the Mandalorian, we're following Din Djarin, whoever the Mandalorian is, we don't know. Following Din Djarin through Mandalore training. And that's like very different from what we've been doing. We've been following him as a bounty hunter, being all badass. Now we're seeing
on the run
he kind of sucks. he's like almost drowning. He's like having Nerf battles with Grogu, and then Grogu's doing the stupidest backflips. It just looked ridiculous.
Not a big fan of the Grogu backflips, and I think it's just the fact that there's no movement. Like the arms don't move and the legs don't move because they're covered in cloth, so you can't see the not so much the articulation, but like the joints move in the body. It just looks like you threw a doll.
It just looks like they threw a doll. Yeah, it looked bad. And like in an episode where you had actually very good CGI. Like I thought the CGI of the creatures was excellent.
They were pretty good.
The fact that you have
birds,
they're just throwing the puppet around.
Yeah,
really stood out.
Get him.
And like we all applauded them for using a puppet and not making him CGI.
Right.
But if you're going to have him like really moving around, like if you want him to be like Yoda was CGI when they were doing, throughout they had to fix the puppet to make it CGI, but definitely when he's moving around, he's CGI.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. So this just, and then this is how this episode started for me, because I saw a tweet, or you commented on someone's tweet about the game show, Star Wars game show. What is that called?
Jedi Temple Challenge.
And I was like, what is this? And then my TikTok feed was just full of the video, which turned out to be video from this episode, where we see Ahmed Best's character saving Grogu. But because you had mentioned Jedi Quest or whatever the F, I just thought that was like footage that they put on the game show, and it was like, this is like, it's like when you would get a DVD board game back in the day and they had like bonus footage they shot just for the game. I thought this was like nothing footage. I didn't realize this was part of The Mandalorian. So I was just watching it being like, oh, that's crazy. They shot this whole thing just for this game show. Is this even canon? Yeah. But yeah, of course, because it's Mandalorian. But so you have Ahmed Best, who obviously played Jar Jar Binks, and then he, in this game show, is a Jedi. So he plays a character. He's not Ahmed Best. He's playing a character.
Right. He's Kelleran Beck.
He's Kelleran Beck.
Jedi Master, yes.
And Kelleran Beck is canon because he shows up at the Jedi Temple to save Grogu. And it's like a whole big, like, this, he has been redeemed. Like, whatever you thought about Jar Jar, this guy saved Grogu in like a very kick-ass way. Right. And that was obviously this was a great gesture because this guy had been through a lot. Star Wars fans can be very toxic.
Every fan can be toxic. I'm sorry. It's not just
Star Wars fans especially, though. We've seen it time
I don't know
and
if
time
Star
again.
Wars fans especially. I think it's just fandom in general is toxic.
I mean, like, yeah.
Sitting with this all week. I'm pretty sure every fan, you go, sports fans are toxic.
Well, sure.
Media fans are every fan is toxic at the end of the day.
I don't think you could compare Star Wars fans to sports fans because, like,
no, it's the truth.
Yeah, but sports fans, like, you're from a place. Nobody's from Star Wars. You're not, like, defending your home team. And then Star Wars isn't going to win the World Series. Like, yeah, you hate, like, you're from Boston, you hate the Yankees because they always beat you for a long time. But, like, with Star Wars, you're just rooting for, like, a good time. Like, a good time at the movie. It's like, why are you mad at the actors? I don't understand.
Well, I can't even call it, like, his redemption because, you know what? My guy, Will, loves Jar Jar Binks.
Sure.
I left Star Wars Episode 1, 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago now, at this point. I didn't mind Jar Jar Binks.
You minded him.
You minded him. Here's the thing.
I was in that theater with you. You minded him.
I'm going to tell you right now. A long time ago,
a galaxy
George Lucas realized that Star Wars could make a lot of money off of kids through toys.
Yeah, he was the first one to realize it.
And back then, it was the Ewoks.
Sure.
And you had the 10, 12-year-olds who had seen the original movie and had the toys come back. And then 30 years later, you've got those parents with their kids, and they're like, oh, I like Star Wars. Maybe my kid will like Star Wars. And all it takes is one figure, and it might as well be a Jar Jar. They bring the 3, 4-year-old kid to the movie, and, you know, that's it. They're like, oh, that's fine. And then, you know, to the 30, 35-year-old at the time, oh, that's the stupidest character in the world. Because it wasn't my character, you know? But whatever.
I just don't think
I don't know.
George was a good writer. He wasn't a good comedy writer. Like
no, I don't think so either.
His intention was for Jar Jar to be the comic relief. But then he had him, like, he had no redemption within the story because even during that final battle, he was like, you know, like Mr. Magoo, just like lucking himself into success. Like he was kicking a battle droid and then the battle droid would like fire at the tank. But he was a mess. Like there was no redeeming quality from Jar Jar. And then if you step outside of it, the things that he was saying sounded a little racist. Like, you know, that's what we were saying. Like, this isn't, this isn't cool. Like, what you're doing all the way
back. The Nemoidians sounded a little racist right off the bat, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. I mean, you can't, there's no hiding that. Like, I'm surprised they haven't edited that out. Like, good God. Yeah. But I think Jar Jar was a poorly written character, and, you know, he probably was going to have a bigger part in episode 2, but there was just such outcry, backlash to him that he was reduced. But there was always sort of that theory that people had, and just sort of like ironically, I think, but it's like he was going to turn Sith, or like, you know, and like
he was the secret Sith Lord. And they base it off of that one quote from George Lucas where he says Jar Jar is the key to all of this, but it's only relative to like the CGI working correctly.
Oh, okay.
Just like Yoda was the key to everything in Empire Strikes Back, because if the puppet didn't work and people couldn't believe the puppet was, you know, real and like talking to Luke, then it was all for nothing, because it was either that or he looked like Kermit the Frog and you knew he was a puppet. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's my hot take on that. But
then, I mean, even in the context of the story, it is Jar Jar who allows, like, he calls the session in like, he calls it into session.
He votes to give the Chancellor emergency power.
Right. So he's still like he's still screwing shit up. Like they did. He's still nothing redeeming about Jar Jar
in a larger scale, much larger,
much
in the galactic
just like
scale.
Less like jokey, but like much graver consequences. So
I don't know. I think he does say like Dello Feligits, and he like completely screws it.
There you go.
Like, what do you think, Representative Binks? Dello Feligits. It's like, oh.
Do we see him in episode 3? Is he at the funeral procession? Is that the one?
He's at the funeral. Yeah, he's mourning, and that's all he gets.
Do you think now that they think they don't have to redeem the character of Jar Jar Binks because they've done good by Ahmed Best, or do you think there's still room to like go back and do something with it. Or it's like, that's too hot of a potato. We can't touch that.
Well, the working theory that people are coming up with is like who had parked the Naboo shuttle at that station there, and they think it's Jar Jar.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows?
There's still room to do something with it.
I still couldn't. I was like, I think I was maybe like the one person in the world who was like aware of, and I know I wasn't, but I was like the one person who was aware of the game show that he was on, that they had created.
I remember
and, like,
hearing about it.
The door opened.
Did it air?
It aired, and they're all on YouTube and they're all on Disney Plus, and it aired. I think there's at least 10 episodes, and I was just like, oh, there we go. It's Ahmed Best. Great, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got a little roll back in Star Wars. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, here he is. It's like, it's just the guy from the game show. So I'm like, is he like a celebrity? And then I'm like, is it canon? Is he like a celebrity?
Yeah.
Celebrity Jedi who's got his own TV show and he's trained. This is how the Padawans are trained.
Yep.
Like,
well, someone pointed out
the funnest way possible.
His robes have like a special design, like the librarian character had, and it's like these are given to like clerical Jedi. So it's like, he in charge of the training of the young Jedi, like in the game show. I don't know. I like, and on the one hand, it's like, this is great. This was a nice moment. I mean, this,
sure.
The fandom owed it to Ahmed Best to have him have something else to hang his hat on.
Yes.
But
the most poorly received digital character saving the best received digital character.
There you go. I know. I guess that is a nice way to think about it.
That's how it is.
But people obviously were mad because that's what they do. They're mad.
Of course.
They were mad that it wasn't a known character. They were like,
right.
There should have been like a bigger moment. It shouldn't have been used for this. Which, shut up. It's all, it was all fabricated. Okay. Like, I'm sure, like, the fact that Grogu was at, like, he didn't even need to be there. Like, clearly this was fabricated to have a reason to unveil someone, and this is who they wanted. Whether they knew from the beginning who it was going to be, nobody knows. But probably. They probably did.
Yeah, expecting one-armed Mace Windu to unelectrify himself and jump over to the Jedi Temple and then I gotta save Baby Yoda, and that's it.
That is what people wanted. And that's why they couldn't give him a break. That's why they couldn't give Keller and Beck a purple lightsaber, because people have been like, oh, they changed the actor. Oh.
I think someone at one point was like, I was expecting Anakin to save, and I'm like, do you watch Star Wars? And I couldn't tell if they were being serious. I couldn't tell. They were like, I wanted a known. They're like, I wanted a known Jedi to. I was hoping for a known Jedi to save him, and I'm like, Anakin. And they go Anakin or Mace Windu, and I'm like, what part are you just watching this Star Wars? Are you just watching Mandalorian, or is there any more to this?
Do you even Star Wars? He had a change of heart. He saw how cute Grogu was.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what?
You're cute.
You know what? And then Grogu ran away and his heart broke completely. Yeah, someone was like, oh, why didn't Luke save him?
I did like that they tried to have like a youngling evacuation plan, and then it did make me feel very bad for the younglings that just got abandoned up in the Masters area there, and that Luke just was like...
There's nobody left. There's nobody left. Let's go. So I think what to take away from this is if a space wizard comes to your home and says they want to train your child, don't let them.
Don't do it.
It will not end well.
The other big joke was they had what was it? Is it Paz Vizsla, the big Mandalorian?
Yeah.
It was his quote-unquote son who was saved from the giant bird.
That's
what and then everyone was like, wait, why is it his son?
Yeah.
How is he making a son? But then you think to yourself, realistically, Din Djarin, Yoda is Din Djarin's son.
No, I think it's his biological son.
You think it's his biological?
I did, even before they announced it.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's like a foundling situation.
I don't think you would say. I don't think Din Djarin's gonna be like, my son. This guy was like, my boy, like from Harry Potter.
I mean,
my boy.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna see that backstory. We're gonna see it.
I don't want to see that backstory.
Oh, you want to see it? You want to see what's going on down there.
The Mandalorian After Dark. No,
Oh,
thank you.
yes. Yeah.
Get the Skinamax Mandalorian.
Damn.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Damn. I was trying to think of like Only Man, but it doesn't work. Only Mando. It doesn't work at all.
Only Mando.
It's
Don't
like,
you ever take your helmet off? Never. Oh, this is the way.
This is the way. Yeah. So that's something. I don't know. I feel I'm not gonna say I jumped the shark, but it's just all over the place this season. And
yeah, I don't know what the season's trying to tell. I don't get it. I don't
feel
know
like
what
it's treading water until like the Ahsoka series starts or something. It doesn't want to like advance in time enough. It just wants to stay right where it is. Because like you don't have that much time between this and like what's the next thing we've established? Is it like the sequels? Is that the next thing that's established?
The sequels are still far enough out.
Yeah. But they probably want this to run forever. It's like, why would you stop making Mandalorian unless people totally stop watching?
Sure. That's what they're hoping for.
That's the benefit of keeping that helmet on. Time stands still. It's like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Like Chewbacca will be in everything ever because he doesn't age.
Right.
But I'm still watching every week. It's fine.
Yeah, you need something.
You need something. Yeah, that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not looking for. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but it's just you never know what you're gonna get. It's so inconsistent now.
It is. Week 1, Week 2, it's back. Week 3, this is all right because it's.
They need to give
you episode or the 4th.
They need to let you know what to expect because you have the 1 week where you have the side quest with Dr. Pershing, and then you're back with just like totally Mandalorian. I need to know I need to know what's happening going.
You need a preview. I wouldn't mind a preview.
I would like a preview or just like a text. This week on The Mandalorian, this is what you can look forward to.
I think that would be helpful. I don't. Disney Plus doesn't do that. I would like a little tease at the end of each episode that tells me.
Even if it's just in like the artist rendering storyboard form or something.
Oh, sure.
Then you can make more carbonite figures out of that or something.
Yes. Credit collection.
Whatever. Is that wait?
Okay.
What's the carbonite collection then?
The carbonite collection is the shinier figures, the ones
What's
that have
the credit collection?
The credit collection is the Mandalorian figures, and each one comes with like a Republic or an Imperial credit or a Mandalorian like credit, and that color is based off of that concept art at the end of each episode.
Wait, I thought that was one and the same. So the carbonite collection is based on nothing. It's just like just shiny figures.
Yeah, that's just shiny figures.
That's terrible. That is the worst. That is so terrible. What was the first set of those?
The first set of carbonized figures?
Yeah.
I want to say they were 3 3/4, but I could be mistaken. I think
God.
we had the Stormtrooper who was all silver. That was a carbonized. We had Boba Fett. Boba Fett was the one that kicked it off.
Okay.
Oh, and actually, I'm sorry. I take it back. There was also Mandalorian started off the carbonized collection. Yeah. The original armor, it was almost like a metallic.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I hate that. Something I don't hate. I want to talk about these Mario figures from the Super Mario movie. We've grabbed them. So in stores, these are $20, which is way too much. But Target had a sale where they were down to $14, I think.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take them for that. So I love these figures. These are, first of all, they look delightful. They capture the like super hyper realistic detailing that they're using in the movie. Like you could even it even has like the little button on your jeans and it's painted. All the little crevices on his hat. It's very good. The face is awesome because we talked about paint versus casted plastic. This is cast in the correct color of his face. But then look at the nose. They made it like a little pink. It's like very nice. And then the eyes. And this is sort of like you either love it or you hate it. And I think we're on both sides of the fence here. The eyes, they've done it in such a way that there's this shiny plastic in front of them to give them almost a 3-dimensional look. And I think it's very striking. I noticed it right away when I saw the figures. And I think in person it works really well. It almost seems like the eyes should be moving. Like there should be a way to move them, like with the Mogwai.
Of course.
But you hate them, right? You don't like it at all.
I don't like them one bit.
You don't like them one bit. So I'd be curious to see if people like them or don't. I think it definitely makes them stand out.
They're too real to me, to the point where almost like what you say, they should have that rolling, that Mogwai. But it almost looks like they do look at you because of how the lens is in front of the eye. It almost looks like it does travel, and I don't care for that.
It's got that little shine. You can see my light reflecting.
I don't like
it. Yeah. So these are great, and they did a lot of fun things with the engineering of it. So the elbows have like the two parts of the elbow, and then the actual elbow is a ball joint, but then there's like enough of a cut in between it to like, you can rotate it the way you want, but then if it lines up correctly, you can get a pretty good bend there. The legs have a nice deep bend. They can almost sit perfectly, which is, I think, very nice. But a lot of movement there. The waist has I think it's a ball joint, but very little. But you get the twist. I wish the head had a better ball joint. That's the only thing that I would say could use some work. But very nice figure. Toad. It's like, you can pay $20 for Toad. I guess you have to if you want all of them. He's got a better ball joint for his head. His backpack is sculpted onto him. It's part of his vest. They did a good job with his legs here. It's like the way they did the Palisades did the Old Men Muppets, the Waldorf and Statler, the way it moves. So it's like, I don't know if you can tell from what I'm doing here, but it's just like the whole leg is part of the joint. So it gives you the ability to move his legs, but it doesn't really detract from the aesthetic of him at all. So very nice. He has one removable item, which is this frying pan, which he uses in one of the trailers. So a fun figure. And then Princess Peach, Princess Toadstool. She's hollow down here, but she does have feeties, which is nice. They don't move, but they're there. She has the eyes too. Not like a very exciting figure just because of the design, but you need it for the set. So I'm very happy to have those four, and I hope they do more. People like that Bowser. I don't have that Bowser yet that blows smoke, but there's definitely, I mean, they put pretty much every Mario character ever in this movie. So there's definitely candidates for a second series at least.
That Target set was wonderful. It was like a mini clearance.
Yeah, it was great.
Like anything that you didn't expect. I grabbed this for $20. I do like the Jurassic Park.
Oh yes.
Scenes where the box actually is incorporated into it, so it has Sarah Harding and the two Stegosaurus.
There you go. Yep.
That was nice. $20 for that.
Not bad. Was that half
and
price?
Then it was half price. It was nice. And then this, I haven't opened it yet, but when Lightyear first was announced and Mattel had picked up the license, there was one thing that I was super excited about, and the movie wasn't that great. My kids loved it, but this ship, was it the XL-15? I just liked the look of it, and the size was great. $15.
There you go.
You can't beat that.
Are they finally clearancing out Lightyear, or is this just a sale?
I don't know if it's... I think they are still all on sale. So, my kid got that funny 4-pack with like the drop ship and the 4 characters as a reward for going to the bathroom.
Wow.
Which is how we reward our children for doing things in the house.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And then you got one of the Zerg bots, one of the ones that everybody kind of customized into an AIM robot or whatever they're doing with them. It's $10 instead of, I think, 20. So a lot of it's still like marked down and is going away.
Surely but slowly. Slowly but surely.
Yes.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of, if they get rid of Lightyear, I don't know, is Jurassic Park just going to hang on there? It's not like they're waiting. The cartoon's done. There's no more movies.
Right. I mean,
hang on for a while.
Gotta have something on the shelves. Yeah.
Right. There's going to be a lot of Flash pretty soon.
There's a lot of Flash. That'll probably take up, a ton of that DC corner there.
Yeah.
The Hammond collection stuff, the John Arnold and the Muldoon figures. Those are marked down now.
I just don't like them. I'm just mad because I love the 6-inch line.
Sure, they're they're half price, so it's like you might as well get them.
Were they $10?
They were $7.50.
Yeah.
So
still no. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Sometimes things are on clearance, and I'm like, well, haven't bought a toy in a couple days. Gonna need that. Yeah. Anything else for this big week?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. All right, that's good. All right, everybody. Well, you know what we say. We don't want to grow up, but we already did. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.